home.
His album is called Swag, which I never thought I would say that word ever again.
All you gotta do is swag, 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 yeah.
Justin Bieber is back, and he's not playing it safe. After years of silence, speculation, and swirling drama, the pop star just dropped a new album and a high-priced fashion line, all while peeling back the curtain on his fragile marriage with Hailey. The name of the album? Swag. And if that sounds outdated to you, you're not alone. But Justin isn't trying to be trendy, he's trying to stay afloat. Behind the beats and flashy rollouts lies a raw confession. Justin's been struggling, emotionally, creatively, and financially. And now he's cashing in on everything all at once. From surprising features with viral comedians to cryptic lyrics about love on the edge, fans are calling Swag Justin's most vulnerable project yet. The album is dripping with coded messages, spicy sound bites, and eyebrow-raising cameos, including the controversial Sexy Red, who's got people questioning boundaries. And then there's Hailey, chiming in with a social media message that has fans debating whether the couple is united or just pretending for the cameras. Because while Justin sings about loyalty and staying through the storm, his lyrics also hint at deep fractures, bottled-up resentment, and the kind of tension you can't fake your way through. This isn't just an album release, it's a crisis-era rollout. Justin is betting it all on swag, hoping the music, the merch, and the media buzz can help him bounce back from career burnout, relationship rumors, and a multi-million-dollar feud with his former mentor, Scooter Braun. And the internet? It's eating it up. So let's break down the album, the lyrics, the drama, and the deeper story hiding behind Justin's so-called swag.
When your lips and fingernails, I don't mind if we talk to me, shall we? I don't mind. Well, don't waste.
What is this? I'm tearing up already. Oh my god. Look at this.
Are you with me down the roof gone?
Justin's new album, Swag, isn't just music, it's a calculated cry for relevance, reinvention, and maybe even redemption. His first solo project since 2021, Swag arrives with a heavy backstory, a sold-off music catalogue, rumours of personal burnout, and a marriage that fans say feels more like a PR contract than a love story. And yet, Swag hits different. Not because it's groundbreaking, but because it's chaotic, vulnerable, and a little unhinged in the most fascinating way. The album opens with a feature from comedian Drewski, who pops up throughout the project like a running commentary. His lines are wild, with one viral moment calling out Justin for sounding black, a quote already sparking backlash and think pieces. But whether you find it tone-deaf or just tasteless comedy, Drewski's presence is hard to ignore. He shows up again on tracks like Therapy Session and Standing on Business, the latter of which turns one of Justin's most mocked paparazzi moments into a defiant anthem. That's the thing about this album. Justin's turning pain into product. From tabloid chaos to awkward viral clips, it's all material now. And musically, it's a shift. Gone is the polished pop prince from Purpose. Swag is stripped down, moodier, and more self-aware, even if some of the slang and swagger feel a few years past their expiration date. Justin's experimenting, not just with sound, but with survival. There's a nervous energy running through Swag, like a man hoping this record might fix everything. And while it won't, it's clear he put everything he had into it. The real question isn't whether the album's good, It's whether Justin still knows who he is when the music stops. If there's one thing Swag makes crystal clear, it's that Justin Bieber isn't living the perfect couple fantasy anymore, and he's stopped pretending. The lyrics throughout the album hint at emotional exhaustion, miscommunication, and a relationship that's hanging on by more than just a wedding band. On the track Walking Away, Justin confesses, "Days go by so fast, I don't want to spend them with you." That line alone sent fans spiraling. What happened to the honeymoon phase? He doesn't stop there. "Tell me why you're throwing stones at my back. You know I'm defenseless," he sings, a line that paints a picture of constant conflict and pent-up resentment. And then comes the gut punch. "We better stop before we say some we've been testing our patience." That doesn't sound like newlywed bliss. That sounds like therapy sessions waiting to happen. Later on Devotion, which originally leaked during their pregnancy reveal, Justin tries to reel it back in with promises and romantic callbacks. "You were my diamond, gave you a ring, I made you a promise, I told you I'd change." But again, a promise to change means someone asked you to. These aren't just love songs, they're confessions disguised as pop. And Hailey, she's not staying silent. She reposted his album teaser with a snappy message that read, "It's finally clocking to you effing losers," which, rather than sounding supportive, came off cold and aggressive. Fans weren't impressed. Some even said it gave mean girl energy instead of wifey pride. There's a tension between the lyrics and the public image, one telling a story of strain and sacrifice, the other clinging to curated perfection, and Swag lets that crack finally show. For years, Justin and Hailey Bieber have poured serious money into crafting a polished image, glossy magazine covers, red carpet PDA, and endless PR cycles pushing the "we're stronger than ever" narrative. But Swag breaks that illusion wide open. This isn't a power couple glowing in marital bliss. It's two people trying to hold something together while the seams are very publicly unraveling. The lyrics alone make it obvious. Justin sings like a man begging for patience, while Hailey fires off passive-aggressive Instagram stories. Her now viral repost, "It's finally clocking to you effing losers," wasn't just unfiltered. It came off like a dig aimed at the public, critics, or maybe even Justin's own fan base. The tone wasn't love, it was venom. And it left people wondering, who exactly is she fighting? Justin's been vulnerable before, but this album feels like his real-time emotional purge. There's resentment in his verses, pleas for grace, a quiet desperation that sounds more like a cry for space than a declaration of love. And fans are picking up on it. Comment sections are flooded with people asking if Swag is actually a breakup album in disguise, or at least a warning flare. Then there's the long memory of that Vogue comment, where Justin once told Hailey she'd never be on the cover. It was a moment that lingered in the fandom's collective mind, and now with tracks alluding to fights, secrets, and stretched patience, it's hard not to wonder, are they just sticking it out for the brand? It's becoming harder to tell what's real affection and what's damage control, and with every lyric Justin drops, it feels like he's inching closer to saying the quiet part out loud. Justin Bieber and Sexy Red might claim to be just friends, but fans aren't buying it. The chemistry between the two is undeniable. From playful studio videos to intimate behind-the-scenes clips, it's the kind of energy that sparks rumors fast. One video even showed Justin leaning in for a kiss on the cheek that looked a little too lingering for a married man with a newborn at home. "Love you, friend," faded in this video, so don't judge, he captioned it. But the internet judged hard. Sexy Red, for her part, clapped back at the backlash, saying, "I see two friends of the opposite sex having fun, making music about their significant others." She kept it respectful, even affectionate, signing off with, "Love you, Bizzle." But the vibe? It had people raising eyebrows. Not because of her, but because Justin looked happier, lighter, and more at ease around her than he has in any public moment with Hailey in recent memory. That's what fans noticed. The relaxed body language, the laughter, the way Justin seems to come alive around her. And if Sexy Red is truly just a friend, then maybe that's the problem, because everyone's wondering, Why does he look more in sync with a collaborator than his own wife? Some fans even joked that Sexy Red is his emotional support girl, someone who lets Justin be himself, no pressure, no judgment. In an industry full of fake smiles and stiff press photos, their bond feels real, too real maybe, especially when one follower put it bluntly, only person he's not friends with like this is his wife. The question isn't whether Justin's cheating, it's why he seems more emotionally available with anyone but Hailey. Justin Bieber's relationship with the paparazzi has always been volatile. Sometimes he's smiling, other times he's spiraling. But this time, instead of running from the chaos, he turned it into content. Several moments of frustration, snapped mid-breakdown or shouted through clenched teeth, have now been repurposed as actual lyrics on Swag. The most iconic of all, that infamous "I'm standing on business" confrontation outside the restaurant New, where Justin lashed out at paparazzi while trying to keep it cool. It was awkward, meme-worthy, and somehow now Billboard material. Rather than distance himself from that viral embarrassment, Justin leaned in. The phrase "it's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business" now opens a track and is splashed across his promo campaign. It's clever in its own way, using the internet's mockery to fuel momentum. But behind the strategy is a man who looks increasingly unwell. Let's not forget Coachella. Earlier this year, Justin looked like he was on the verge of a breakdown, snapping at photographers outside a coffee shop, accusing them of twisting his words and turning everything into a cash grab. "You just want money," he said, and then added that line too into a track titled Butterflies. It's almost surreal how raw he's letting himself be. No filter, no edit, just pure bottled-up frustration, turned into sound bites. For a pop star once obsessed with image control, this is a major shift. He's no longer hiding the cracks, he's sampling them. Every confrontation, every slip-up, every viral outburst becomes another layer in the album's emotional landscape. It's messy, it's risky, but it's also the most real we've seen Justin in years. If you thought Justin Bieber's personal life was chaotic, his business relationships aren't much better. His longtime manager-turned-foe Scooter Braun is finally out of the picture, but not without leaving a multi-million-dollar dent. For years, Scooter was credited as the mastermind behind Justin's rise, guiding him from YouTube fame to superstardom. But behind the scenes, it was getting messy, fast. Justin reportedly owed Scooter a staggering $8 million from a $26 million loan. And after months of tension and passive-aggressive shade online, the debt has finally been settled. But the relationship? Completely fried. Scooter recently went public saying his bond with Justin isn't what it used to be, and fans didn't need the confirmation. The silence between them said it all. What used to be ride-or-die loyalty has turned into icy distance and financial cleanup. And while the payout might bring legal closure, it doesn't fix the emotional fallout. For Justin, this was more than business. It was the severing of a creative lifeline. For years, Scooter was the buffer between Bieber and the chaos. Now, Justin's navigating it alone. That might explain why Swag feels like a solo mission in every sense, emotionally, financially, even spiritually. Without Scooter's team managing the narrative, Bieber's rolling out music, merch, and messaging that feels unfiltered and risky. It's both liberating and alarming. The final bill might be paid, but the damage to Justin's trust and his brand lingers. In a way, Swag is Justin's declaration of independence. But the cost of that freedom? Millions in cash and another severed tie in a career full of them. If Swag is the emotional side of Justin Bieber's comeback, then Skylock is the cash grab. Launched in tandem with the album, his new clothing line is sleek, minimal, and wildly overpriced. Think $160 for a plain zip-up hoodie, $180 for clunky mule shoes, and $200 sunglasses that look like they belong in a gas station display rack. The brand screams luxury, but fans aren't buying it, literally or figuratively. Bieber's clearly banking on hype to rebuild his empire, but the Skylock rollout has backfired, with fans calling it tone-deaf, overpriced, and lacking originality. I was gonna cop some gear and make a fit, but these prices are insane, one user wrote, echoing what thousands of others were saying. Even the $40 beanie felt like a stretch, especially when you realize it's probably the same one Bieber's been wearing in every paparazzi shot this year. Skylock feels less like a creative fashion venture and more like a survival move. With the Scooter Braun fallout, a new baby, and an uncertain music future, Justin's stacking his chips wherever he can. But slapping a luxury label on basics isn't going over well, especially when fans know what's behind the curtain. They see the debt, the PR distractions, and the cracks in the marriage. Skylock doesn't scream, new chapter. It whispers, I need a win. What's worse, some fans are convinced he's trying to distract from personal drama by burying it under a pile of overpriced cotton. And while the gear may be designer-priced, the public's patience is running thin. Justin's betting on swag and Skylock to reboot his career. But if the merch is too expensive and the music feels too raw, what happens when both start to flop? No matter how hard Justin Bieber tries to move forward, the internet refuses to let go of his past, especially when that past involves Selena Gomez. And with Swag's release, the comparisons came roaring back. Fans noticed that elements of Justin's album art, color schemes, and marketing tone looked suspiciously similar to the aesthetic Selena and her boyfriend, Benny Blanco, have been using for their own project. Coincidence? The fandom doesn't think so. What was supposed to be a solo era for Justin quickly spiraled into a fan war. Social media exploded with side-by-side screenshots alleging that Justin is copying Selena's vibe, from the fonts to the moody visuals. Even the inclusion of Hailey in his promotional images stirred drama, with critics claiming he was pulling a Selena by propping up his spouse as a marketing prop. The irony didn't go unnoticed. One fan posted, Justin's entire rollout feels like a soft-spoken clapback, like he's still lurking on Selena's page. Another wrote, he's shading Selena and Benny while trying to copy them. It's giving obsessed. And while Swag never directly mentions Selena, it doesn't need to. The internet is connecting the dots, even if they're reaching. To make matters worse, some of Justin's own fans are questioning whether his marriage is truly built on love or competition. With Hailey dropping snarky captions and Selena's name trending every time Justin releases something, the triangle is unofficially alive again. And no matter how many times everyone says they've moved on, their followers refuse to forget. At this point, it's not even about the music. It's about perception. Who's thriving, who's spiraling, and who's just trying to win the breakup battle. Years later. So what are we really watching here? A triumphant return to form, or a pop star unraveling in real time? Swag isn't just an album, it's a confession booth, a therapy session, and a financial Hail Mary all rolled into one. Justin Bieber is putting everything on the table: strained lyrics, emotional wounds, shaky friendships, and luxury hoodies priced like rent. And the question hanging in the air isn't whether he's still talented, it's whether he's okay. Between cryptic lyrics about marriage struggles, tension with his former mentor, and headlines about emotional breakdowns, it's clear Justin isn't just chasing chart positions, he's chasing stability, maybe even peace. And while some fans are praising him for his vulnerability, others are deeply worried. Because Swag doesn't sound like a victory lap. It sounds like a man trying to convince himself he hasn't lost everything. The public image is crumbling, the fan base is divided, and even the merch feels more like survival gear than fashion. But maybe that's the point. Maybe this is Justin shedding every polished layer and saying, this is who I really am, take it or leave it. So now we turn it to you. Is swag a bold reinvention or a desperate cry for attention? Is Justin evolving or just spiraling in style? And where does Hailey fit into this picture? Supportive wife, passive participant, or just another piece in the PR puzzle? Drop your thoughts below. Team Justin, Team Hailey, or Team This is a whole mess? Because whatever side you're on, one thing's clear. The Biebers aren't done making headlines, but they might be running out of good press.